this. Just joking. Actually, what I wanted to do today, I can't do. I just thought I'd say that. What I want to do is take just a few minutes and tell you a little bit about my background, only to show you that no matter where you come from, you can achieve great things. I grew up as the second son in a sharecropper's family. Sharecroppers are farmers who work on someone else's land and work from daylight to dark, and you're supposed to get a share of the crop that you produce. Well, my dad didn't know how to read nor write, so they always took advantage of him, and we never had any money. And I remember when I was about 12 or 13, I asked my mother, "Why are we so poor?" And she said, "We're not poor, we're broke." As a 12 or 13-year-old, you think, duh, what's the difference? She said, poor is a state of mind. If you think you're poor, you'll be poor all your life. So you can't think that you're poor, ever. You're broke. And she said, broke is temporary. Okay. So I tell people, I left home when I was 16. I was tired of living in that temporary status. 16 years in a temporary status is long enough, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go out and find fame and fortune. Little did I realize that it was a little bit different out there. When I left home and I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any money, I didn't have a job, I had no place to live. It was really challenging. But leading up to that was, throughout my childhood, we were always moving. We never lived in a house that had electricity. I never had any toys. And when kids would talk about what they got for Christmas, I never got anything. And one can become very downtrodden and defeated by that, if you let it. It's up to you. You can choose to be a victim, or you can be victorious. It's what do you want to be? And from the time I was a little bitty guy, I always dreamed that I was going to have everything. And I have an older brother and a younger brother. I don't think they ever dreamed of anything. But I remember when I lay in this bed, we had straw that made the mattress and the pillows, and you get stuck with these things through the cloth. I would think that I was laying on a nice soft feather bed, had a nice fluffy pillow, because my dreams was what I was living on. Not the reality, but what I wanted it to be. And so that's how I spent my childhood growing up. When I was in school and everybody making fun of me because my clothes were clothes that someone else had thrown away, and they were ragged. I mean, it was really, really bad. I think I was just born much too soon, because today it'd be cool. Have holes in your clothes, and the older the clothes, the better off you are. But I was just too soon. And so I made up my mind. It didn't matter what anybody said to me. I didn't listen to it. I would say, okay, it doesn't pertain to me because I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to travel all over the world. I'm going to have my own clothes. I'm going to have a nice house. I'm going to have a car. We never had a car. So if we wanted to go somewhere, we had to walk. And going to visit my uncles, we had to walk for like 45 miles to get to where he lived. So you didn't go up there for a day visit. You stayed there for 3 or 4 days and then you walked back home. And so it was one of those things where you had to learn to condition yourself to constantly believe in what you wanted to do. And for example, in school, they elected class officers for different positions, you know, the secretary of the class, the vice president, the president, etc. And they would never even let me run for one of those positions because I was too ragged looking and whatever. And it used to really frustrate me. And I would think to myself, it's okay. One of these days, I'll come back here and buy this whole place. And I wasn't sad. I was just determined. They're not going to tear me down because I know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know where I'm going. And I remember one time I made this statement because they were making fun of my clothes, and I said, "My heavenly Father owns the cattle on 10,000 hills." That's a verse out of the Bible. And I thought, that'll shut him up. And then one guy said, "Well, why don't you have him sell some of those cattle and buy you some clothes?" I didn't have an answer for that one. And even when and I know you'll encounter this, people will tell you, well, you can't do that. But you cannot believe them. You have to believe what you believe. That is the most important thing. And you have to have a dream of whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life. Because if you really dream it and you really believe it, you can do it. I'm living proof of that. And when I enrolled in the computer science program, I flunked the entrance exam because I didn't have the algebra and geometry and all the math that was required. So I begged and pleaded to let me go on a probationary status, and I knew I could learn the subject. So I was admitted, and I worked 7 days a week. I had to go back and catch up 7th and 8th grade math to be able to stay in the program. Guess who graduated? Number 1 out of 407 students. Me. I was determined that I was going to be the best. And I worked 7 days a week. I had no time off. I was in the lab. I was practicing on the computer. I was doing everything I could do to learn more and more. When I got out of the Army and I went into business, I was working on an opportunity that NASA came up with. It's called the Launch Processing System. They were going to buy all these computers to process launching the shuttle. And the competitors that I was up against was IBM, Honeywell, GE, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed, Martin Marietta, all billion-dollar companies. And me, our best year was $2 million in sales. And these guys would say to me, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "The same reason you are. I'm going to get this business." Yeah, go home. You know, I'm going to get this business. You know who got that business? Me. I never had a doubt. Never. I always knew I was going to get it. In my mind, I saw that happening over and over and over and over for the 2 years I was working on this project. And when they made the announcement of who the winners were, these guys almost fainted. And when they told me, and I walked out of the room, they're all sitting in the waiting room out there, I don't think my feet ever touched the floor. I was floating, man. But I was cool about it, you know? "Hey boys, how you doing? Have a good day?" So, when I was 14, I had made out this list of things that I wanted to do. And one of the things was that I was going to be a multimillionaire by the time I was 35. And the reason I picked 35 is the banker's son was 35. And I figured he had to be a multimillionaire, right? He wasn't. But, you know, what do I know as a little kid? So The commission paid on that contract was about $18 million. The first check was $6 million. You could buy a lot of houses, a lot of cars, a lot of food, a lot of clothes for $6 million, and I did. But anyway, I'm taking up all your time. No. I'll shut up now, but I just want you to know that it's... Hold this mic for a minute. This morning, I was reading the paper, and I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I thought it was very appropriate. I don't know if any of you saw this. This was in the paper this morning, and it says that leap of faith will do wonders. Just do it. There's nothing we can't overcome if we banish our fear of failure. And it shows this impala that can jump so high and run so fast to get away from the lions. However, if you put this impala in a fenced enclosure that has the walls covered, and he could jump easily that high to get over the fence, he won't do it. You know why? Because he can't see what's on the other side. Don't get caught in that trap because you don't know what's on the other side. It's something exciting. It's always, you tell yourself it's going to be great. Something on the other side is exciting. So that's the way you look at life. I always did that, and here I stand today, a fat boy on the stage with this beautiful lady. I won't be here much longer because...
No, it won't be that.
Oh, you're going to hit me over the head? Now, we're losing weight. We're on diet number 742. And they told me that if I did this, I could lose weight. See how skinny my fingers are? It's working. Okay.
Now, how do I follow that? Oh, boy. Okay.
I love you.
I love you, too. Wow, I wanted to just say a couple of things because our time is very short, and I'm very glad you took as much time as you did.
You don't have to talk as much.
No, not that, but it was very good. I enjoyed it. How many of you enjoyed hearing it? You know, the more I listen to Randy tell his stories and tell it, the more amazed I am. And he always has more stories. Some of them I haven't even heard before.
I just made it up.
No, you didn't. No, his brothers corroborate a lot of it. Anyway, I just want to take a few minutes to tell you I did not grow up the way Randy did. I grew up much more privileged, I'd say, than he was, but certainly not wealthy. However, I also had dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish. I never forgot those dreams. And Randy and I talked about this. I'm not going to go through our history because it'd take too long, but we sold a couple companies that became part of public companies. And afterward, after retiring 2 or 3 times, Randy and I decided we wanted to do something more important, and give back. And we thought, what better way to give back than to offer an opportunity that if you take hold of it and work really hard, you can be or do as much as you want. So that's the reason that we started Jeunesse with that in mind. And the second reason was to help children around the world, because Randy had grown up so poor, or broke, broke, that if we could help people around the world, their children, because they didn't ask to be brought up in the environment like that, that would be giving back to society too. So I think our first goal was to give all of you that wanted to join us an opportunity that was better than anything else out there. I think we've done that. We have some really great products. All of you love them, I think. And we also gave you a compensation plan that you can do extremely well. All you have to do is work hard. It's not get rich quick, it's work hard and you will succeed. And I think the most important thing that comes from all of that is we are different than a lot of other companies out there. And the difference isn't that we have great products or that we have a great compensation plan. The difference is the heart. Our heart is there with you, our family, and we want you, we need you to succeed, and we're going to do everything in our power to help you make whatever you want out of this opportunity. And your heart speaks to us, and we know your loyalty. Loyalty is extremely important. It's a major part of this. We're loyal to you, and you'll be loyal to us. And we see that every day, and we love each and every one of you. So I think we're doing something really important that helps Malaysia, Singapore, and the rest of the world. And we're also, through Jeunesse Kids, helping children around the world. We just came back from the most amazing opportunity. I think I stood there in the village of Daolazui in northern China, about 4 or 5 hours north of Beijing, tears streaming down my face because I was so amazed and thrilled to see the school, the heat that they had in the school, that the children had a place to learn, a library. Soon they're building the cafeteria, and all of you helped us do that. We're very grateful. Just talking to those children, even though we don't speak the same language, I don't speak a word of Chinese other than ni hao.
And Shay Shay.
And Shay Shay. I can say hello and thank you, and that's about it. But just feeling what they felt, and this one girl, little girl who's 12 years old, stood up there and made a speech, and then they translated for us. And she said, I'm going to work very, very hard because I want to get as much as I can and learn as much as I can. And I'm very grateful that you're giving us this opportunity. And think of how many more people around the world we can help with all of you joining in. So I'm very appreciative. We have some other villages that are coming up in Kenya and also in Ecuador. And who knows, the next one could be here. So let's work together and we can make something really great. And we can help so many people. So in closing, I just want to say I love all of you. We are heart to heart, and that's what will make us succeed. So let's do it together. Remember, we are Generation Young. Thank you.